This is the Tower, a Roblox game where one player is a sniper who has to kill anywhere from 1 to 24 other players before they can reach the end of the map and escape. This video will be a guide showing you the best way to play both roles and how you can get good at sniper and maybe hit some sick shots. Starting with Survivor. Survivors have one main goal and a few side goals that they can focus on for unlocks and achievements. While a Survivor's main goal is to make it to the green flare at the end of the map and escape, there are a few other goals. Firstly, supply drops. Randomly, a supply drop will land on the map with a random assortment of crates in it. It's not guaranteed, but they're pretty common. Crates are used to unlock talent cards, which will give you different buffs, which I'll cover in more detail later. To get the supply drop, you must escape after collecting it at the crate, or else you do not get it. Along with that, most maps have a weapon part. If you collect it and escape with it, you get 1/5 of a weapon that you can use when you become the sniper. Of course, you need all 5 weapon parts to unlock that weapon. As a survivor, you can dive by jumping and pressing C to crouch, and you should use this often to quickly transition behind cover where the sniper can't see you. As for other controls, if you hold down the middle mouse wheel, it will give you a compass which points to medics, any currently down airdrops, the exit, and shows you your cardinal directions. And you can enter first person mode by holding down the keys F, P, and S at the same time. This bind sucks, I hope the devs change it. Now, in addition to the controls, you need to understand your various hazards. Number 1 is the sniper, your biggest threat at any given time regardless of the map. In a map, you should start by locating the sniper tower, which will be a large visible gray building with a turret at the end of it. It's always in the same spot at every map, so be aware of where it is so you can properly find cover from it. Your secondary hazard is going to be other survivors. The frag grenade is an equipable grenade gotten from wooden crates as a 1.7% chance and allows survivors to kill other survivors. It's mostly used for trolling, but is generally used for the achievement which requires you to kill 50 survivors as a survivor. But there's more ways to do this. Landmines are a common map hazard and appear in 2 ways. Small, darkly covered pits which will explode upon being stepped on and are exceedingly difficult to spot at night, and then there's also the half dug up mines which are much more visible and only appear on certain maps. However, fully exposed mines can rarely and randomly generate on any map, so be aware of them. Throwing a grenade of any type, whether it's a smoke or an actual grenade, directly onto a mine will set it off, potentially killing others around it. So be aware of grenades from other survivors and mines, which are a common hazard on pretty much every map, aside from the side and the airport. The front and the outskirts have very few mines, but they do have a couple of placements, so watch out, and the battlefield map in particular is absolutely riddled with both hidden and half-exposed mines. As a survivor, your main tools are your various grenades. You start with just smoke grenades, which are generally not that great, but at level 4 you unlock sparklers, and you'll eventually unlock different types of flashes. There's also healing grenades, which make a radius of healing around you. Smokes are simple, but they're kind of broken and often appear transparent on certain maps, so watch out when you're using them and don't completely rely on them for cover. Flares create a zone of blinding where if the sniper looks, it makes their screen turn black, as well as forcing their scope to look away, making their aim unsteady. Flashbangs completely blind the sniper for about 3 seconds and make their aim unsteady as well. The super flashbang is a flash that then creates 3 sparklers. The best way to use any sort of sparkler or flare is generally throwing them far in front of you and then running in line with them, since it makes a zone where the sniper can't accurately aim at you. In-game, a lot of people like to spam smokes and grenades at the beginning, so generally I'd recommend using other people's resources to your advantage and use your utility sparingly, unless you buy the double grenade game pass, which is pay to win, and I refuse to buy it because it makes the game too easy in my opinion. But regardless, you're best off saving your grenades for the final stretch and making yourself a safer path, because by the end you'll potentially be one of the last people alive, making you a much bigger target. And make sure to use cover. Obviously the big metal walls, bushes, and trenches are obvious cover, but lots of structures like simple trees and stands can be used as a bit of cover, which can sometimes just barely make the difference in you getting shot in the head or not. But do remember, you don't need to get headshot to die. Shots to the legs will force you to crawl, and shots to the body and arms can kill you or even make you bleed out slowly depending on the caliber of the gun you're being shot with. Now real quick, let's cover crates and talents. Crates come in 4 rarities: brown, metal, titanium, and diamond. And honestly, wood crates and titanium are the best as far as survivors need to care, and diamond is generally the worst in my opinion for survivors. The diamond crate is very much sniper focused. The brown crates have some of the best drops in the game with the helmet card and vitality cards. The helmet allowing you to tank headshots from lower caliber sniper guns up to high caliber at level 3, and vitality just offering more health, potentially saving you from body shots. The cards for survivors have stuff like speed, which is generally the meta as more speed is just always good. Medic cards, which lets you heal people, granting you EXP and giving people a second chance if they're hit or crippled. It also guarantees that everyone will get out except for you every round that you decide to heal someone. There's also parkour, which lets you dive and prone faster, but in my opinion it's not very good. And then you have stuff like body armor and helmets, which protect your body or head. But that really depends on the gun that the sniper is using using, which can change how much protection you're really getting. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that you just have to check out for yourself to see if you like. I personally run speed and medic when playing with friends. Otherwise, I'll run speed and helmet or body armor as more protection for myself because I play a little bit selfishly sometimes. Now for sniper. Sniper is a pretty simple role and concept. You have different caliber bullets and guns to match them, and different scopes, and only a few talents for bullet velocity, scope stability, and the time it takes for your aim to resteady after shots. There's also two stats that you need to worry about with your guns that you'll notice while playing: bullet velocity and fire rate. Higher velocity guns usually have less bullet range drop off over long distances, meaning they go straighter, and they usually deal more damage. Higher fire rate guns deal less body damage and have much more fall off, with the trade-off being higher fire rate, obviously. All guns will always kill to the head though, unless you're going against someone with a helmet, in which case the difference between certain velocity guns could be the difference between killing them depending on the level of their helmet from 1 to 3. High velocity guns will usually kill with any non-leg shot and at least cause deadly bleeding if it hits arms, except against very heavy armors depending on what gun you're using, while low velocity guns might not even kill with a single body shot against lightly armored opponents. The difference in a survivor's armor and helmet also heavily affects how high of a caliber shot they can survive, which is important to remember when choosing your gun of choice. Now, before talking about how to snipe properly, let's talk about the scopes. Each scope has varying levels of information, and some are much more minimalistic, while others even have thermal sights allowing you to see through smokes. My guns of choice, or well, I guess caliber type, are the KAS 8mm and the 20mm, which are both very high velocity guns with low fire rates. The KAS is a level 14 unlock, while the 20mm is an unlock for killing 500 survivors as the sniper. My scope of choice is always the PSO Lit, which is unlocked at level 9. The range readings make it easy to zero your range properly, and I personally prefer high velocity as it allows for me to be accurate as possible, killing people before they can even hear the shots go out towards them, because it only takes me one. Now, as for the sniping itself, when a round starts you can zoom in, and you can use control and your mouse wheel to zero out ranges, allowing for your scope to be fully accurate depending on the range you choose. I personally don't need this or use it too much, but it is a good tool to use to make sure your shots are accurate. It is probably something that you should be using as long as you're decent at reading range in meters, which you'll get a feel for over time if you play the game a lot, or if you have any like real life gun experience. I normally just let off a few shots early before the round starts to check my range and fall off and adjust my aim as needed to hit people easily. When sniping, be sure to lead your shots. There's travel time and fall off. Nobody is going to be hit if your crosshair is directly on them. Read their distance and movement and be sure to aim an appropriate distance away and take your shot. And also be sure to read movement patterns. Read the frequency someone jumps with and use it to your advantage, catching an easy shot as they land or ready another jump. And please don't spam shots, it just makes you less accurate. As for strategy, people tend to spam a lot of smokes and flashes in the beginning, so if you're fully blind, feel free to spam fire in hopes of maybe getting a lucky shot and hitting some people, while pulling down to adjust for the blindness in the gun sway. Against flares, it can be hard to see, but if you have a single target blocked by a flare, try using the washed out colors and vague movements to read them through the blind and shoot them anyway, which is what I personally like to do. When it comes to dealing with large groups of flares and people, you can aim at them and quickly let off shots as you pass the flares. This is because looking at a flare will cause your aim to sway unless you're already passing it, in which case it'll follow the direction you're going in. So if you pass a flare from the right to the left, you have complete control of your scope essentially, allowing you to get the shots and removing some of the unpredictable nature of shooting through blindness. I prefer using the velocity card talents for accuracy, but if you're using a high fire rate gun, it's probably better for you to use sway reduction or focus of some sort, as velocity isn't going to help you too much. When dealing with smokes, it's a good idea to try and read predictable movement. Most people run straight through a smoke in the direction they came into it, so you usually have a straight line of predictable movement to set you up for a free kill. Or you can use thermal scopes, but the challenge is fun for me. And remember to be calm. If you panic, you'll miss, so make sure to ready your aim, lead your shots, and fire.